tonight, South Carolina, it is going to be loud inside Colonial Life Arena.
Indiana in their man-to-man defense. They're going to look to try to not allow the ball to get in the paint. Sanaya Fagan gets it early.
Easier said than done. South Carolina leads the nation in paint points with South Carolina. Let's take a look at today's starting lineups brought to you by Capital One. We mentioned a veteran point guard for Indiana. Well, South Carolina has a veteran too, Raven Johnson. Also Tahina Paopao. They can both run the point.
You're going to see Indiana try to get out, score quick before South Carolina gets their defense set.
Indiana's starting five. Jordan Garzon is their leading scorer. She can play 1 through 5. Can you hear how loud it is already?
Oh my gosh.
Sydney Parrish in the corner leaves it short.
You know, earlier in the season against Tennessee, she got into some foul trouble, was playing a little tentative, but she's brought her aggressiveness back.
Okay, Raven Johnson posting up a little high-low. Jordan Garzon, their leading scorer. And finally,
thinking about upsetting South Carolina, you have got to keep them off the offensive boards.
5 seconds inside to Edwards. They work it over to Bree Hall for the triple! At the buzzer, Breezy!
South Carolina has done a good job inside to the outside. You got to get by to the paint.
Bacon. Garzon rejects the screen. Tries to go over Bree Hall. Edwards spins and turns it over. Moore McNeil finishing through contact.
They said they talk to each other 2 or 3 times a week. That bond that they formed out in Oregon, it has not dissolved, but even gotten stronger. They even take vacations together. These are two I bet can get into some trouble together.
While they're really good friends, of course, when they play each other, it is all business. Ilaysia Fulwiley has entered the game for South Carolina, their second leading scorer. Got a takeaway. Over to Joyce Edwards.
I just wonder if there's been a little bit of pressure on South Carolina, as well as they shot the ball in the first round against Tennessee Tech, over 60%, only shooting 33% here so far.
And Chloe Moore McNeil snuck inside.
We talked to Dawn about what did she not like about that first round game. With all the good things she did, she said she wanted her post game to post up that much stronger.
Oh, that one bounces around for Fagan. It feels like a silly question, right? Well, what did you not like in a 60-point win? But you know that Dawn is always nitpicking little things.
If you're going after your 4th national championship, you have to do that. Oh, that's a good shot fake by Caroline Strickland. She's familiar with being here in Colonial Life Arena. She knew how loud it was going to be today.
Tessa Johnson elevates off to the right.
Those aren't shots out of rhythm, but trying to create on their own.
Moore McNeil. That's impressive because she had to catch that ball at her knees.
But when you're a shooter, wherever it comes to you, just line it up and knock it down.
10-2 run for the Hoosiers. Well, Wiley's short. Vargas are out with it. Vargas are blocked in the corner by Fulwiley. And 1 second on the shot clock. I got to get the ball in first. Chesky. And shot clock violation, held it too long. Indiana on a 7-0 run in the first quarter.
The familiarity that Caroline Strickland, it was Cardoso and Raven Johnson. This season, it's going to have to be a collective effort on the offensive end if South Carolina wants to protect home court.
South Carolina only 9 points in the first quarter, tied for the fewest in a quarter this season. Alexis Bargasser. Malaysia Falali with the rebound. And the takeaway for Indiana, we were just talking in the break, Coach Peck, about how Indiana is breaking down the South Carolina defense.
Well, South Carolina knows that they've got to try to run Indiana off the three-point line.
Constantly in the gym, finding ways to combat that size, always working on her game. Grew up wanting to be like her older brother Matthew and play basketball just like him.
She had the triple-double. She had double figures leading into this game.
She was the SEC Tournament most valuable player. Yarden Garzon went to hold her eye. I don't know if she got poked or what happened, but still on the floor. Tessa Johnson fouled by Caroline Strickland.
I think Tessa Johnson got Garzon across the face. But there was no whistle. You got to play on.
Tessa Johnson at the free throw line is a part of the Garzon, the leading scorer for Indiana, will take a seat. And Johnson gets both free throws.
You see how South Carolina's defense is extended because you have to respect the three-point shot from really all 5 of Indiana's players.
Chesky guarded by Pow Pow. There's a move she worked on in the gym. Miriam Dowda is inside right now for South Carolina. Chloe Kitt's on the bench with 2 fouls. And Lily Meister, I think, got a hand on that shot by Tessa Johnson.
You can tell who Indiana is worried about most on the floor. It's whoever Chloe Moore McNeil is guarding. And right now, that would be Tessa Johnson when they're back on defense.
Fagan and Bree Hall waiting at the table to check in for South Carolina. Garzon is there for Indiana. Lily Meister working her way around Miriam Dowda. 14-2 run Hoosiers. More trauma on the shot from Raven Johnson.
Well, right now, South Carolina is reacting defensively instead of dictating, and Indiana has been able to take advantage.
Raven Johnson is going to slow things down here for South Carolina. Fagan got it back and put it in the hoop. First points for Sanaya Fagan. Indiana, meanwhile, started 1 for 8. Since then, 7 for 15. Chloe Moore McNeil, yes! On her 16th birthday, she found out her mother had passed away. And all of a sudden, she became an even bigger role model for her 3 younger sisters.
Yeah, she even thought about, when her mom passed, of stopping playing basketball so that she could take care of her 3 sisters. And her grandbrother said, no, you must continue to live on and to pursue your dreams. So she's done both, and she's done them both beautifully. And taking care of her sister and what she's doing at the University of Indiana.
Yeah, anytime that Chloe Moore McNeil has the chance to get back home and see her sisters, she makes the drive. Kylie just a few days ago won a state championship. She's a high school freshman, and of course her dad there on the right.
Well, her dad is an AAU coach, and I asked him, is the little one going to play too? And he said, oh, they don't have a choice. I'm a coach, so all 3 of them are ballers.
Sorry, her dad on the left, Tori. Bree Hall trying to shoot South Carolina back into this ball game.
Talk about how selfless she is. She gets happier for her teammates to score than she does for herself. Loves to set them up.
And a travel.
For the first quarter and a half, Dawn Staley very calm as Indiana was making their run. But in that last timeout, we saw Dawn Staley get a little animated, and her team seems to have come out of that timeout with a response.
What do you think about South Carolina offensively so far in this game?
Well, I didn't like all of the shots that they were taking early. Not moving it and catching in rhythm. That's much better for South Carolina.
And a foul against Sydney Parrish. Got to play you safe on the defensive side, and Sanaya Fagan went right after her.
Well, you already mentioned that. Indiana has a short bit. Foul trouble could be an issue. She's got to keep her players on the floor.
South Carolina first in the nation in bench points per game. Indiana 318th in bench points per game. Stepped out of bounds.
Dawn Staley has an ability with this South Carolina team. If shots aren't falling, you know how when you're cooking in the oven, if you cook with gas and you can turn the heat up and the fire goes up, she can do that with this team on the defensive end.
Oh, Fagan's just taken over. Chesky the kick out to Garzon. Gotta use the shot fake when you're in amongst the trees.
So smart by Chesky.
6 seconds. And Joyce Edwards traveled.
Smallest one on the floor, but get the finish.
Sydney Parrish for three. Catch and shoot, Tessa Johnson. Got it. Indiana's hit its last three shots. Lily Meister inside, the kick out to Garzon. Yarden Garzon, their leading scorer, only 2 points so far in the first half.
And look, with a ball screen with Sanaya Fagan as strong, so you've got a strong roll from your big.
There it is. Joyce Edwards on the miss. A 1-point game. One of these teams moving on to the Sweet 16. Can Indiana play spoiler to South Carolina's hopes of back-to-back titles? Tahina Paopao. Covered up by Chloe Moore McNeil.
I'm watching Sydney Parrish, number 33 in black. She has not really left the paint. She's clogging up everything inside.
Chloe Kitts back on the floor. She had to sit down with 2 fouls for this whole South Carolina team.
I think it was Kitts, Fagan, and Tahina Paopao took accountability for that loss.
Since then, a lot has changed for South Carolina. A block by Bree Hall. Up ahead to Paopao. Layup.
It's a 6'3" point guard up top.
Caroline Stripling.
Ball has got to move. They need to get 2 or 3 passes in a possession to get good looks.
They were so good at that on Friday. That's why they shot 67% from the field. There you go. 8 points for Fagan. Inside to Stripling.
See if Sanaya Fagan continues to go to work inside.
Chloe Kitts with a swish. Solid move from Caroline Stripling.
That's a little shake and bake.
Let's go.
Caroline. It's going to be a battle. She and Fagan. Fagan, if she posts strong inside, she can win that battle.
Oh, Fagan says, look at this. Garzon, Stripling. Rebound by Kitts.
Yeah, that's where I would go, to Sanaya Fagan, and give her room to work.
In this quarter for Kitts. Third quarter, totally different for South Carolina. They've come out of the locker room 6 of 7 from the field. They trailed by a point at halftime. Just the 4th time this season they've trailed in a ball game.
You mentioned it. Chloe Kitts missing in that first half with that foul trouble. She has made her presence felt right out of the locker room.
She kicks it out to Bree Hall, driving in through the paint. That game will be on Friday. Pow with the swipe. 2 points for Jahina Pow. Pow said, "Give me that."
Defense is at another level for South Carolina.
Bree Hall buried it. Chechesky kick to the corner to Garzone. Get the winner of Alabama and Maryland. This is a rematch of last year's Sweet 16, where South Carolina led by as many as 22.
Sydney Parrish, number 33 in black. She has got to get involved offensively.
Defensively, what adjustment do you want to see from Indiana?
They've got to stop the ball from coming in the paint. I think you've got to force South Carolina back into jumpers they talked about. Oh, Tessa Johnson.
Indiana talked to us about how important it would be to know that scouting report, especially with South Carolina's depth. Women's championship game is on the networks of ESPN. For more information, go to NCAA.com, your home for all 90 NCAA championships. Willie Meister cutting to the basket.
But who touched it? Sydney Parrish. She can make the decisions, but she's got to get touches for Indiana.
A fifth-year player, a veteran, who's playing against one of her best friends in Tahina Pow.
And she said she remembers watching the NCAA tournament when she was in school, in high school. She was already in tune and wanted to be on this stage, and to do it for her home state. She loves putting on that Indiana uniform. And so her motivation in this tournament, she just wants to keep on putting it on, wants to wear it another day.
I don't think in the state of Indiana they mind if you're watching March Madness at school, right?
I didn't think so.
They love basketball. Garzone, patience underneath. 7 points.
See, that's the thing. I don't think Indiana has to be in a hurry. When they execute their stuff, they open up the floor and they're getting good shots.
Maddie McDaniel. She's not afraid. Joyce Edwards poked it away, and then she was fouled by Garzone.
She's gotten a lot of minutes in the regular season early on. So if she comes out in a game and she's not quite settled in, Dawn Staley has no hesitancy to go back to her.
Got to hustle here. Clock winding down. Edwards off the mark. Can't miss it. All the sparkle. It's a NCAA championship trophy, and on the back is a photo of Dawn holding up the national championship trophy.
Yeah, it's rose gold. Some people may refer to it as pink gold.
Some might.
But it is beautiful. The look on Dawn's face, she's like, Pies just gave this to me. Yeah.
South Carolina has looked much better in the second half. Indiana led by a point at halftime, but they were outscored 26-14 in the third quarter. Caroline Strickland up and in. Indiana made that run. They cut it to 2 with about a minute to play.
And those 2 points away from tying it up, that's what Sydney Parrish said this team has focused on, getting back to this point.
feel like Strickland is fouled. She has made such a difference for Indiana since being inserted into the starting lineup back on January 19th. How to play without Mackenzie Holmes, who was a 5-year dominant post player for them. And Strickland transferring in from Tennessee has helped fill that void. Close ball game, obviously, but South Carolina looks much more in a flow in that third quarter. They trailed by a point at the half.
Well, the defense turned up. The defensive pressure and having Chloe Kitts, not having her on the floor in the first half in that foul trouble was crucial.
And Fagan knew that she'd be on the other block. Kitts with the finish. And down to Strickland. Back to Garzone. Gives it back to Caroline Strickland, and she'll have 2 free throws on the way. This is the first. 10 points against the Gamecocks and 4 of 7 from the field.
She was inserted into the starting lineup just before Indiana played USC. A lot of dribbling for South Carolina.
Inside to Kitts, 5 seconds. Trying to get past Parrish. This is on Sydney Parrish. It's her 4th. It is. That's 4 fouls on her. She has fouled out their last 2 games. And I think she took another hit to the face. Sydney Parrish did. But training staff not looking at her. She's just going to take a seat.
She may have a little blood on her lip.
Kitts got 1 of 2.
Chloe Kitts got a little weight workout in before the game today.
That is her normal routine. She'll hit the weight room for about 15 minutes. Adding weight, adding muscle this year has been key for her success.
Another Indiana turnover.
7 turnovers here in the second half for Indiana. Megan wants the basketball.
Well, she was in the lane for quite a long time.
Tahina Pow-Pow! They knew that one of their careers would end today. Garzone, she's like, we got 3 minutes to get back in this. Not over yet. Plenty of time.
That's the thing, that if South Carolina wants to advance, they got to be locked in defensively, because Indiana is that team that can knock down those shots.
Joyce Edwards spinning her way to the basket.
And Indiana still has 3 timeouts.
Remember, under a minute to go, you can call timeout and advance the basketball in the women's game. Chesky. Joyce Edwards short. Now Indiana down 9, and Terry Morin will call timeout. 26 seconds on the shot clock. They're down 9.
They've got to go for a quick strike. If they can't get a quick 3, first available shot, and then they got to foul.
Garzone in and out. She leads the Big Ten in 3-pointers made, so obviously they want her taking it. Now they got to foul. Garzone fouls Raven Johnson.
I almost want to think about, if you're South Carolina, not risking a foul on a rebound, but just ready to defend. You just take the ball out of bounds and you play with composure.
Parrish inbounds to Strickland. I'm trying to get Garzone open. Bree Hall is all over her. A deep 3 for Yarden Garzone. That was some Bree Hall defense right there, and now Dawn Staley will call timeout.
You don't want to risk turning the ball over. Cheyenne Sellers of Maryland going against Sarah Ashley Barker of Alabama.
Foul before the ball was inbound.
Like in the WNBA, if you do that, you get possession of the ball. So it's kind of to de-incentivize that foul before the ball comes in. At the Indiana University Indiana University of Indiana with great pride.
Yeah, shout out to her grandparents, Alice and Steve, who are watching from home. Krzyzewski with the bank in. And Dawn Staley will call timeout. And a foul before the ball inbounded. They set school records for NCAA tournament points, threes, field goal percentage, largest margin of victory. And today they've been pushed in the second round.
They have said that the Southeastern Conference has prepared them to see all different kinds of styles and defensive approaches, and they've been able to figure it out.
And the fans come to their feet inside CLA. South Carolina back to the Sweet 16.